The city never sleeps. The hum of life continues, a symphony of lights and sounds that never truly fades. Neither do Uber drivers. I should know, we are the silent observers of the night, the unsung heroes of the urban landscape. My name is Rick, and I'm one of them. Night after night, I navigate the concrete jungle, ferrying souls from one brightly lit corner to the next. The city is my office, and the streets are my corridors. Each ride is a story waiting to be told. Most are forgettable, a blur of traffic lights and small talk, yet they all add up to the tapestry of my nightly routine. But every now and then, you get a ride that makes you hit the brakes on autopilot. These are the moments that break the monotony, the unexpected twists in the tale. This was one of those rides. It was 2 a.m., the witching hour, the time when the city's pulse slows and the shadows grow longer. The city was finally winding down. Even the most dedicated party animals were starting to call it a night. The streets were quieter, the air cooler. My phone buzzed with a new request. A pickup from a swanky address downtown. The kind of place that makes you wonder about the lives behind those walls. A mansion, to be precise, not my usual clientele at this hour. I accepted, curiosity piqued. What story would unfold tonight? The mansion loomed large, a monolith of wealth and secrecy. Its towering presence was both intimidating and awe-inspiring, casting long shadows across the manicured lawn. A lone figure stood on the steps, bathed in the warm glow of the porch light. His silhouette was sharp against the night, a stark contrast to the soft illumination. He was dressed to the nines in a tuxedo, looking like he'd just stepped out of a black and white movie. The elegance of his attire was almost surreal in the quiet night, but something was off. He was clutching a fishbowl, an odd accessory for such a formal occasion. Inside, a lone goldfish swam lazy circles. Its movements were slow and deliberate, adding to the surreal nature of the scene. "Evening," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "I trust you'll take good care of us?" His tone was both commanding and reassuring. He gestured to himself in the fishbowl with a wry smile. The gesture was almost comical, yet there was a seriousness in his eyes. I wasn't sure what to say. This wasn't exactly your average Tuesday night fare. The whole situation felt like a scene from a bizarre dream. I mumbled a yes, more surprised than anything. My mind raced with questions, but I couldn't find the words to ask them. He slid into the back seat, placing the fishbowl on his lap with the utmost care. The car's interior lights cast a soft glow on his face, highlighting his calm demeanor. "Don't mind Bubbles," he said, nodding towards the goldfish. "He gets nervous in new environments." "Bubbles? Really?" I stifled a laugh. The man seemed oblivious to my amusement. He stared straight ahead, a strange intensity in his eyes. "He's more than just a fish, you see," he continued, his voice dropping to a low murmur. "He's the key." "The key? The key to what?" My mind raced with possibilities, each more outlandish than the last. Was this guy for real? Maybe he was just some eccentric millionaire with a penchant for dramatic pronouncements, or maybe, just maybe, there was more to this fish than met the eye. The drive was short, but every second stretched into an eternity. The darkness outside seemed to press in on the car, making the journey feel even more surreal. The silence in the car was deafening, punctuated only by the gentle sloshing of water in the fishbowl. It was as if the world outside had ceased to exist, leaving only the sound of the water to remind me of reality. I stole glances at the man in my rearview mirror. His presence was unsettling, a constant reminder that this was no ordinary ride. He was a puzzle I couldn't solve. His eyes held secrets, and his demeanor was cloaked in mystery. His face was etched with a strange mixture of anxiety and determination. It was clear he was on a mission, but what that mission was, I could only guess. He hadn't told me where to go. He didn't need to. The path seemed to unfold before us, guided by some unseen force. We pulled up to another mansion equally as imposing as the first. Its grandeur was intimidating, yet it beckoned us forward. This one was bathed in an ethereal moonlight, giving it an almost otherworldly feel. The shadows danced on its walls, creating an eerie yet mesmerizing spectacle. The man paid me in cash, a wad of bills that made my eyes water. It was more money than I had ever seen in one place. "Keep the change," he said, his voice barely a whisper. His words lingered in the air, adding to the enigma of the night. He stepped out of the car, fishbowl in hand. He paused before closing the door, turning back to me with those intense eyes. "Remember," he said, his voice barely audible above the hum of the engine, "Bubbles is the key, and someone is coming for him." He slammed the door shut, the sound echoing in the stillness of the night. I watched him disappear into the mansion, his silhouette swallowed by the shadows. The engine idled as I sat there, frozen in place. What had I just witnessed? Was I overthinking things? Maybe it was just a normal night in the city, and I was letting my imagination run wild. But something told me this was far from over. I finally put the car in gear and pulled away from the curb. As I drove off, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was now a part of something bigger than myself. Something strange, something secret, and something undeniably fishy. And at the center of it all was Bubbles, the goldfish who was apparently the key to, well, something. I glanced at the wad of cash on the passenger seat. One thing was for sure, I was getting paid handsomely for my troubles. But was it enough?